Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Plug Into Devin. I am so excited to have with us Senator Kathleen Riebe. She's the Utah Senator from District 8, the Cottonwood Heights, Murray Midway area. I am so excited to have her. You don't want to miss this episode. Senator, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. I really appreciate you making time for this. I know you're extremely busy. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I was at a meeting with a person who's running for office, and they said the most important thing for them is a fair and representative government. And that really resonated with me because usually I've really focused on education, but as a minority in the Senate, as a Democrat and a female, I think that it is important to have a fair and representative government. And I think that we need to work harder to make sure that we're being represented properly by the people we elect.
Yeah. How many women now serve in the Utah Senate?
We have 6 women in the Senate.
And there are 29 senators? Is that right?
Yes, there are.
So we're not anywhere near 50%.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
4 of them are female, 4 of them are Democrats, and 2 of them are Republicans.
So how many Democrats are in the state Senate?
There are 6 of us. I am the first seat to have switched over from Republican to Democrat in 10 years. So that's been exciting.
Yes. So I think that is. But it is amazing and frustrating to think about the incredible majority that the Republicans have in Utah. Because it's not representative, is it?
No, it's not. And it's unfortunate because the supermajority actually pushes things through that really is hard for us to put the brakes on or slow down because we just don't have the votes. So we can work to put in different language, we can work to put in dates, we can change our shalls to mays, but it's really hard for the Democrats to be the better checks and balances in this whole system because we really are a minority.
Yeah. But Democrats, so Republicans outnumber Democrats a little bit in the state. I don't want to minimize it. There's a significant number more that Republicans than Democrats, but it's not a ratio of 23-6, is it?
No, it's not. The other part that people don't recognize is that we actually sit on a lot of committees. So when we're on the committees, we actually can we can work really hard to change legislation. So since there's only 6 of us and we have to be on every committee, we do have a stronger voice in our committees. So that's really the benefit of being a smaller party. We have stronger representation in all of our committees.
Yeah, that's an interesting insight that you get some power that way. But there have been some referendums in recent years, the dysfunctional Utah government that fails to represent really the will of the people, even on strong consensus issues. Like the years we spent advocating for Medicaid expansion, as a for instance. We spent a decade nearly, didn't we, on lobbying for that at the state level before it happened, and it required that there was a referendum. And even then, the legislature tried not to do it, right? Tell us a little bit about your perception of that from your Senate seat.
Yeah, I was just looking at my paycheck stub this morning, funny enough, and I pay a lot of federal taxes, and those taxes go to the federal government, and they are supposed to be received back to us as for funding for Medicaid, and we are not receiving that money. It's actually costing us more money not to put forward Medicaid for all than it would be for us to do it the way we're doing it. And that's really upsetting to me that we are spending more money than we have to, and now we're in this crisis where all of those benefits could have benefited everyone, and we could have had a much more robust response to this pandemic, but we chose not to expand Medicaid. So that's really been a problem, and it's really upsetting that we are being that fiscally unsound.
Yeah.
But we also do that with education funding too. When I was on the state school board, they were constantly saying, we don't want to deal with these strings attached to our federal funding. And we're the lowest per pupil spending in the country, and we're going to turn back money. I just don't understand the thought process behind it. If we're giving that money to the federal government, we should be receiving it back in the way that we've intended it to be used.
Yeah, yeah. We also saw, it looks to me like the Better Boundaries initiative was fairly gutted by the state legislature. What's your take on that? That essentially the legislature gets to set the boundaries only after consulting with this new independent commission.
Yeah, Rebecca Chavez Hawk and Noah were working on that, and we were briefed on it a bunch of times. And so I think we did come up with some good compromises, but it was not what the people intended. Prop 4 did not go forward like it was intended. And that is part of the reason why I'm always encouraging people to get involved and vote. If you're not involved and you don't know what's going on, your vote is really important to change these things. And we're waiting for the census data to see how our boundaries are going to be changed. And now that we have all this controversy with the census, that's going to impact how our districts are redistricted. And so it's really, you have to be involved.
Yeah, boy, that is so true. Such a good insight. Well, Senator, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. What is your superpower?
What is my superpower?
Yeah.
As a school teacher, I'm ready for anything. I can adapt to almost any problem or situation or event that arises. So I feel like I'm always ready for something.
You are a superhero right there. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Devin. It's been delightful talking to you.
Well, thank you. Before you go, tell us how people can learn more about you and your work in the Senate and your campaign.
Well, every senator has a page, and you can see all the committees that we're on. So if you go to the Utah legislative site, you can look me up. And then I also have a Facebook page and a website. My website is www.kathleenriebe.com.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you so much for being with us. And we wish you every success in helping Utah to build a more representative form of government.
Thank you. I appreciate that tremendously.
All righty. Let's be bold together.
I'm Devin Thorpe. For the last 8 years, I've been working full-time to eradicate extreme poverty, improve global health, and fight climate change. I've concluded that the best way for me to continue my work is to run for Congress to represent the people of Utah's 3rd District. In Utah, we have common shared values. Those things unite us. I believe passionately in our ability to come together, and I believe that working together, we can solve Utah's problems. I'm Devin Thorpe. I'm a Democrat. I'm running to represent the people of Utah's 3rd District.
I'm Devin Thorpe, a candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.